What's up, guys? Welcome to fourth quarter. How's everybody doing? We're gonna start our 32 team breakdown. This is just our opinions. It's not set in stone. Don't everybody get in the roar every day. But we're just gonna start off with each team to break down the coach, offense, defense, and then the overall prediction. So right now we're gonna start with the America's team, the Dallas Cowboys, who is on Hard Knocks right now. So their offense right now, Mike McCarthy's the head coach. He's in the second year. The thing with Mike McCarthy is the first year was a major disappointment. Dak got hurt, which is not his fault, but the defense was horrendous. But we're going to get to that later. So the question for him this year is, can he move past the 6-10 record? And Jerry Jones, to me, there were already rumblings about his coaching last year. So this year, I think, and they hired Dan Quinn. Hopefully, he can turn the defense around. All right, the offense, the quarterback position, they're solidified. Have Dak Prescott. He's coming off an injury. His ankle's fine. He had a little issue today with his shoulder, but that's normal. It's training camp. He hasn't thrown a ball in a while. It's a slight injury. Zeke Elliott, he came in 218 pounds, looks lean, ready to go. They also have Tony Pollard as the backup, so they're pretty solidified. The tight end, they're probably going to battle it out. Schultz, Blake Darwin, they're probably going to battle it out. Darwin had an ACL injury last year, and Schultz actually filled in pretty well. So that's probably going to be a training camp battle to watch. The offensive line, Tyron Smith is healthy, Jack Barnes healthy. They're gonna be back loaded. And the receivers. Once again, you have the route tactician in Amari Cooper, and also CeeDee Lamb is probably going to take that next jump. This year, he's been doing really good at camp. He's been catching some amazing balls. So this is just going to be the offense is going to be loaded, right? They were loaded before that. They're just going to pick up right where they left off. The defensive line is very young. They have DeMarcus Lawrence, who needs to have a comeback year, and then they have Randy Gregory on the other side, who hasn't been consistent as well. So those are some inconsistencies. The linebackers. They're going to be really good. If Van Der Esch can stay healthy, and Michael Parsons, I think, is going to be Devin. They said he's doing pretty good camp covering, tackling, blitzing. I think he's the package. And then we have the defensive backs are young, Tavon Diggs and Kelvin Joseph. Kelvin Joseph has said they are airplane mode, no fly zone. So we got to see. And they also signed Malik Hooker, but once again, inconsistencies of Malik Hooker in the back. But he does. My overall prediction that once again the Cowboys are going to have a phenomenal offense. Their offense is going to be epic. It's going to be excellent. But two things. Mike McCarthy does not run the ball a lot. If you look at his past offenses, which is good, Jerry's going to want Dak to pass anyway. He's the second highest paid quarterback in the league, but I'm a big believer in the running game. And then the defense wins championships. And their defense was bad last year, 28th in points. I don't know if Dan Quinn can turn it around. But they said they can't. The players they call it KISS, which is NFL term is keep it simple and stupid. So they said last year the defense is complex, and they're gonna keep it simple for the defensive players. But I don't think that's gonna come into play. I think this defense is just lacking experience, and I don't see the defensive line taking the next step. Mike McCarthy's seat will be him to move up, and I got the Cowboys going 7-10. Yeah. All right, Corey.
I feel like just to get to the Cowboys, you have to start with the head coach. They moved on finally from Garrett. McCarthy had a less than stellar rookie camp or first year campaign. Personally, I don't think McCarthy is particularly that great a coach. Like I get it, he is an offensive coach. The defense was the problem last year. He has a Super Bowl ring, but I believe it was The Athletic had an article after he got fired in Green Bay about the falling out between McCarthy and Rodgers. And there was basically Rodgers thought McCarthy was lazy. He was skipping meetings, like getting massages, showing up late to stuff. He was refusing to tailor the offense to the personnel because he thought all of the success Green Bay had was because of his scheme, not because they had a all-time great quarterback in Rodgers and a loaded. So it's watching what happened in Green Bay last year and to make me believe more so the Rodgers side of that account. And it kind of seemed like at the end of the year that the players just gave up on the season, which is reflective of the head coach. And I know as a Colts fan, I've seen like Chuck Pagano hit at the end of his tenure. It was clear he was going to get fired. The players still played hard for him. They had respect for him. I don't know if that same level is there for McCarthy. And I'm with you, James. That seat will likely be pretty warm at the end of the year. I would have argued he probably deserved to get fired last year, but you look at the offense. I think that offense will go as far as that offensive line takes them. They've got the skill position talent with Dak coming back, Zeke, Amari, Lamb, Gallup. The line just has to stay healthy and keep Dak up. And if it does, there will be absolutely no excuses after this season. But the defense is the biggest question mark. They were historically bad last season, so there's really not much room for them to go up. That's a pretty low bar to clear. McCarthy says he wants to run a blend of a 3-4 and a 4-3, whatever he means by that. I think their biggest problem last year was trying to go from a Tampa 2 to a 3-4 is that they didn't have the 1 and 3 techniques to run it. Because in a Tampa 2, you need light defensive tackles, and in a 3-4, you got to have an anchor in the middle. They didn't have it. They didn't really address the interior of the defensive line at all. So I'm not sure how much better. The back seven is definitely going to be improved. The linebackers should be greatly improved. I think Van Der Esch is gone after this year. I think they can end up cutting Smith. Malik Hooker's an interesting signing. Watching him for 4 years in Indianapolis, he has a world of talent, just couldn't stay on the field. But in the end, I don't think that's going to be enough. The NFC East is what it is. They'll be able to contend for a playoff spot just because of being in the division, but the defense had a lot of holes. I don't think one offseason was enough to address that. So there's definitely a ceiling of a playoff appearance on their season. My prediction for them was just barely over 500 at 9-8.
All right. Mike McCarthy, as far as the head coaching goes, I give him a pass from last year because he didn't have his quarterback really. Quarterback played 4 games, maybe 5 games. He got hurt, and then it went downhill from there. Well, they actually weren't doing that well with him in. But I just thought that they could have turned it around possibly if Dak had stayed in the lineup. He didn't. It took a toll on the whole team, obviously, bringing in Andy Dalton. Andy Dalton's no Dak Prescott. Mike McCarthy, to me, I don't think he's a great coach. I think he's a middle of the run coach. But like I said, I just probably give him like a little bit of a pass last year, just because it's his first year. He had to deal with what he had to deal with the quarterback position. It's pretty much just Zeke, and then he got hurt a little bit as well. Offensive line, this to me was is not. People kept saying Dallas has this great line and all this stuff, but I don't think their line needs to just stay healthy. If their line stays healthy, and I think they can be one of the better lines in the NFC, if not the whole NFL. But I think McCarthy this year, if he doesn't produce this year, if everybody stays healthy, they're in the NFC East, which is probably the worst division in football right now. Again, even with 17 games, I don't know if it's going to be enough to keep them off the hot seat if they don't actually make the playoffs. Even though this is his second year, like there was a reason why he left Green Bay or got put out of Green Bay. So I just don't know if that's going to actually carry over for him coming in this year. I'm hoping that maybe they can get one more year out of him, especially if they can win the division, which is very very winnable for them. I don't really have high expectations for Mike McCarthy overall, but I think if everybody stays healthy, I think he can coach this team to at least a winning record this year. As far as the offense goes, man, the line, man, the line has to stay healthy. Zeke just ran the ball to me a lot last year, and he just didn't have enough. He didn't produce when he was when he was in the game. He ran the ball to me a lot more than I thought he should have, and he did. Overall, his numbers weren't what they were his first couple of years in the league. He wasn't really producing that way. The wide receivers are the wide receivers. Like they're three good wide receivers, three really good wide receivers. Probably one of the best wide receiving corps in the whole league. Gallup is a solid player. He's probably pushed back to the number three receiver overall now with CeeDee Lamb at number two and Cooper at number one. The tight end is whatever. The tight end is not. He's not a big name anymore. They used to have big names there. The tight end is what it is. I don't know if he's going to really make a big difference in the passing game, but you got people keying on the wide receivers that can open up a lot for the tight ends there. Dak Prescott is the key to this whole offense. He goes. The Cowboys go as far as he goes. If he can stay healthy and kind of mimic what he started out with last year, his numbers were just crazy as far as yards per game. So he can come in and do that, and because they're going to need him to do that because the defense is not going to win games for him, or they're going to have to probably be in a lot of shootouts like they were last year. So their offense is going to go as far as that can take them. And if that can get off to the hot start, he got his first four of his first six games are on the road, which is. But if he can if he can get out of that with maybe like a 4-2 record, maybe 3-3, maybe at worst, I think it sets him up for later on in the season because obviously they'll have more home games than road games. But I kind of got Dak penciled in as between him and obviously I'm a little biased here, but between him and CMC, I got him penciled in as my comeback player of the year. So I think he's going to produce as long as he stays healthy. But the defense, man, the defense is rough. They focused on defense with Parsons, which I like. I thought that was a solid pick. If he can come in and stay healthy, I think he's going to help. Van Esch, man, he just can't stay healthy for whatever reason. He's a really solid player when he's in. It's just that he's just never healthy. Their defensive line is y'all said they're really young. They're up and coming. Lawrence is still there. I think he can produce and try to get that line up to speed a little bit and help that line out and be the anchor for that defensive line. The corners and the safeties. Like I like Hooker. I really wanted Hooker to come to Carolina. We didn't, but he picked Dallas. So and he's going to have to work with that secondary and be the voice of that secondary for them. And I don't think their defense is going to be top 15 or anything like that. I think they're still going to be bottom of the league, probably in the low to mid 20s. I think if they can get a couple of stops here and there, keep the offense off the field for a little while, let them catch their breath and get back into a decent rhythm, and just make somewhat of an effort on defense to just get some 3 and outs. Don't just have them go down the field and keep scoring points or whatever. I think the Cowboys can probably finish. I got them penciled in at maybe like 9-8, maybe 10-7. I'm going to say 9-8, just because the NFC East is what it is, and I think they have a solid schedule this year. They play they play the AFC East, or excuse me, the AFC North. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's Pittsburgh. There's
Because they talk about the
Ravens. There's the Browns. Yeah. So there's some tough games in there, but maybe 9-8. It's going to be interesting though. But that's how I got the Cowboys barely above 500 this year. Now they're the 17th game.
Yeah, that's going to be that North is tough.
It's going to be tough.
Is tough.
It's going to be tough in general because they don't play defense well.